Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you a change his life. Never seen a cancer dead. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you a change his life.
What's up, everybody? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? My name is Travis Johnson. I'm the bigger T of this freak show, and I'm with my man Clint Clark, Big C of the Bigger C, Bigger T, Big C, Bigger T podcast. How you doing, Clint?
Man, I am fan freaking tastic. I really am. Life is good. Why wouldn't it be good?
How many episodes have we done?
Is this 156?
It's 156.
Have
we ever done a hatless episode before?
Oh, we're both of us are hatless. I don't know if we have.
Man, we must both be having a good hair day.
If you put a hat on, you'll leave it alone. I'm gonna fidget and I'm gonna turn it backwards.
Yeah,
that's me not being able to stay still. But yeah, I'll fidget. And then there was at one time I had a Razorback hat on, and I couldn't quite on the camera feel like I never could feel like the Razorback was centered. So it was my OCD was taking over. I had to take it off.
Well, that's the one you just go ahead and go all in and just crank it to the side or something, you know.
God, and I can't do that.
Old school style.
So Travis, me and you, the older, I mean, the more days pass by,
yeah,
we find ourselves being the adult in the room, and we find ourselves in a position where now we're pushing 50. You're already 48. I will be on the 27th this month. I'll hit the 48 club. So it's one of them things now. I catch myself being the grumpy old man in the room.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the way we do it back in the day. These
That's
kids,
right.
They can't. Back in my day, we would just have a heat stroke and no one cared.
That's right.
You know,
and we liked it.
I thought I was big stuff when I got to college and they had ice towels out there.
Yeah.
Then they were worth their weight in gold, my friend. Now, you know, they're spoiled. But anyway, see, there I go. But how do you feel about the flat bill hats? How do you feel about that? That's the one thing I cannot.
I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah.
Not wear
I have some that are meant to be flat billed, but I curve them a little bit. And
no, I can't. They've got it.
I have some that I curve like I used to seriously put like a tennis ball or a baseball in a cap.
Yeah.
Put a rubber band around it, or I would get like those like small plastic cups like you would get at like at a ball game or something, you know, like the little souvenir cups or whatever, the smaller ones. Yeah. And I would stick the hat bill down in that to get it curved good and leave it there for a long time when I get a new cap and leave it there for several days. But I don't do that as much anymore, but I definitely don't go the flat bill usually. Yeah, I'm not a flat bill.
No, definitely no. I can't do it. No, if it doesn't have a proper curve, I can't use it. And the most surprising thing about all this conversation was that you had a tennis ball laying around the house. Dude, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, when I say this, Travis Johnson is not a tennis player.
Clint, I took tennis lessons as a kid.
Whatever.
I played tennis a lot.
I don't know what we would play to. I'm sure it'd be one. I would play you in tennis right now.
Dude, I had a killer backhand.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now.
I did a one-handed backhand.
I
took tennis twice in college because I enjoyed it so much.
Okay. You want me to say I'm wrong? Would that make you happy?
I didn't say I was good at it. I just said I enjoyed it. And I know how to play tennis.
Well, you know,
but I took coaching tennis. So I not only I had to do lesson plans and teach movements and, you know, practice the low to high, how to hit the ball. all that kind of stuff. I can.
Okay.
I'm
For those of you that don't
fan.
know, Travis started training this young girl, this young lady of color from Compton, California. You might have
That's
heard of her,
right.
Serena Williams.
That's right.
Uh,
Yeah.
he quit because Richard Williams is just—he's a pain in the neck.
That's right. He was just a sports dad that was tough to deal with. You know.
He's tough to deal with. God, I think about some of the way I was with Kyle's AAU basketball, and I was like, God, I was such a sports dad. I was
Yeah.
such an AAU dad. Like they probably wouldn't have punched me sometimes. But speaking of things we're not very good at, um, but we enjoy. I had another wrestling match this weekend,
Yeah,
Travis.
and it was a big one.
It was a big one. We actually billed it as if my team won, then that tag team had to break up, and if we lost, I had to retire from professional wrestling. And joke was on them because I wanted to lose. So I'm like, oh god, I can't keep doing this. I'm too old. I'm too old for this. So yeah, we actually had former WWE NXT superstar Quincy Elliott was what he went by in Quint in WWE. Now goes by Quincy Elliott on the independents because that's the way WWE does it. They own your name,
Yeah.
which is just weird. Like you got like everybody knows who it is, but it's just like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah.
But that's once again me being grumpy old man. But we had a heck of a match. I came out on the losing end. Dude, but I want to tell you,
So is that it? You're retired?
that's it. I'm retiring from professional wrestling. No, and for those of you that I doubt none of you that remember a few years ago, I had what I considered my last professional wrestling match.
Yeah.
No, I started helping a friend with his organization, and it became an opportunity to. I saw a couple guys that really cared and really, really were putting their heart and souls into it, and wanted to legit get better and would
Yeah.
listen. So all the opposite things of what I was when I was their age.
Yeah.
They wouldn't listen. I'm like, I already thought I knew everything. Which Travis, you've known me for how long now?
A long time. Yeah.
How many of those years have I known everything?
All of them. Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
It's only now I realize I don't know anything. So for the last year or two, like, yeah, I got a lot to learn. So they're the opposite of me. Is I saw a chance to get these kids over because you've been around.
Yeah.
I can get proud to hate me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that sometimes that was at church camp. Just I don't know. But no, I can get the booze, man. I can get the booze. So
you can
we
play the heel for sure.
I definitely play the deal. So had a good chance to get these kids over. Man, we had adversity thrown our entire way, and so for them to get to work with a former WWE superstar, and I consider the number one bad guy in that organization. I think we accomplished our mission and got them kids over.
Well, and I'm sure, man, I know they appreciated that because you have been doing that a long time and you've seen a lot of shows. You've got a lot of experience, especially on the local, regional level. And so you were probably able to help them, you know, uh, figure out what needs to be done, what doesn't need to be done. I mean, anytime
Yeah,
you got someone with experience in a situation like that, especially something that, man, it's difficult. And that, I mean, I was around it enough, supporting you and Lynn and through the years, and being a part of some of the different shows and stuff like that here and there, announcing or whatever.
right.
That's a difficult thing to make your way in, man. It's hard. I mean, there's so many levels to, watch what's that documentary of the Ohio one.
Yeah.
And those guys are in a lot better situation than most people like you're talking about. I mean, that you're
Oh,
dealing with.
100%. You don't realize like those lower level guys in WWE and AEW, whatever the name brand, those lower level guys that are there just losing it. You don't realize how good those guys are.
They've paid their dues most
Yeah,
times.
And how hard you have to work to get to that level.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially back when we were first becoming fans of it and we started watching it. There was nobody that was breaking in their early 20s.
no,
No one did. I mean, if, you were a young guy, if you were in your 30s and doing wrestling,
Yeah.
back
These
then
guys,
because you had to have all that seasoning.
yeah, these guys these days are so much smarter than we were.
Yeah.
They really are. I would go out there and just try to do every move I knew and thought it was a match. I mean, their psychology is much better than mine at that age.
Yeah.
Um, but but even just the way they do things, the way they take care of their bodies and everything, is just
Yeah.
they are smarter. And I said this, we got a little show we do, and I hammed it up last night. I had a neck brace on, had a sling, and I kept switching arms that it was on just to see, caught up in it. I got inspired by Tom Hanks in the on Celebrity Jeopardy where he's caught in the bag. So I
Oh
was just
yeah.
I was ebbing it up, but I said, look, the young talent, is in the state, and just in the state of Arkansas alone, you're gonna show up and you go to the independent show, you're gonna see some horrible wrestling, and then you're gonna see some guys that you're just like, wow,
Yeah.
and I read off about 5 or 6 names, and if I try to do it again, I'll leave somebody off again, so I don't want to go there. But do yourself a favor, get out, pay $10 to go see a wrestling show, entertain yourself, and no
Yeah.
matter what, or if you see one of those local shows, man, because look, them guys, they're gonna give you all they got.
Yeah.
You go to some of these other house shows, you're gonna see somebody walk out and go, oh, I'm not doing this in front of this many people.
Yeah.
And you've got, you're less angry. Anyway, I've got on a soapbox. I didn't mean to do that, Travis.
Well, Glenn, I got a holy shnikes for us. We didn't talk about this.
Oh,
I'd
no,
forgotten about this till I got on my computer, and I wanted to share it with you. How I think I know the answer here, Clint. How are you with snakes?
No, I don't do them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan myself. Like I like snakes, like
There's one kind of good snake. It's a dead one.
yeah. I like looking at them, and but as long as they keep their distance and I got something in my hand to help them keep their distance, I'm okay with them. You know what I mean? Like
What's funny is if my ex-wife sees a picture of a snake, this is my ex-wife, she'll have a nightmare about a snake. So like
Yeah.
at least once every month I send her a picture of a snake.
that's good of you.
Remind her.
That's good of you. Well, here's the deal. I was this is actually a post from Hog Sports. I don't think they'll get on to me. This was on the message board, but I don't think I'll get in trouble for talking about this. It's hitting hog like Razorback related. But hey, someone shared a Twitter post of a guy in Fordyce, which I live in Thornton, just outside of Fordyce. Okay. So Fordyce, like I was just in Fordyce, just about an hour ago. Okay.
Nice area.
I mean, it's 5 minutes away. Okay.
Okay.
Well, in
Thank you.
Fordyce, they have a civic center. Okay. It's like a big meeting area. I think there's a gym in there. I think there's like a weightlifting deal stuff. There's some ball fields next to it. There's a walking track, playground for kids. The city owns it. It's just a nice little area. I used to, when I lived in Camden, it was a good little stop to stretch your legs. Like I'd pull in there and I'd, walk around the track a little bit or something, and just kind of stretch my legs because I'd be tired of driving. But I wouldn't walk
around the track, really.
I'd walk around the parking lot, to be honest with you. But anyway,
like a
and then so
joke.
Anyway, apparently somebody, I don't know if the guy works at the Civic Center or whatever, but the picture is like on the road at the Civic Center, like the road to the ballpark. Okay, that's like right next to the little walking track. Killed a rattlesnake. Okay. And you judge, I mean, it didn't say how long it was, but it's a picture. There's a picture of it. It's huge. Clint, the rattlesnake had 15 rattles and one button.
I would probably move out of Fordyce. I mean, that's yeah. I'm like
that's like as big as a python, man. And it's like it was huge. Like it looked like it was like huge around too. Like, holy cow.
You ever hear that people that say like we're getting that we're getting bigger and faster as a society because of what the hormones they put in the chicken?
Yeah.
That snake's been eating them chickens.
That's right.
He's
He's been eating some Tyson.
He beat them style. They don't even pretend to put hormone free on there. Like, no, this thing's
Clint, like if you ran over that in your truck, it would knock your suspension out of whack.
Yeah.
Like it was that big. That's like, and like I can understand that. Okay, like a big black snake, right? But a rattle, like a rattlesnake? No, sir. So I am like, I have a concealed carry, and I never carry. Like I never carry it, but I have it, in case I ever, just in case I ever want to, kind of thing.
In case Gator ever needs his gat, right?
I'm thinking about carrying now. Like even when I walk to my truck, just putting a gun in my pocket because
Yeah.
holy cow, dude. Like that's right down the road. Anyway, sorry. All right. Well, Clint, there's not a ton of sports stuff right now, man. We're kind of in that.
We got on. I mean, like this, we're gonna find out how many people listen to us for Hog Sports and how many of us listen to us talk. If you're listening to us talk, we welcome both of you. If you're waiting on us to talk Hog Sports, you may want to tune out because there's really not a lot going on other than. And I've never seen this before. Is this new where a schedule slot release? Where like they're like, okay, you're going to play in the afternoon.
Yeah,
you're going to play. I've never seen that before. We do know, like,
I know. Usually it's just a bunch of TBAs. Like they'll do like the first game of the season, and then they'll do a to be announced for the rest of the season. Because it's flex pretty much for the rest of it. But the big Razorback news this week, I mean, I guess,
is the only news.
The only news besides the fact that Hurley didn't go to the Lakers, and so we don't have to worry about Cal going to UConn. There were some people putting that out there on the message boards and stuff.
Well, I mean, when you got a successful coach like Cal, it's going to be a rumor.
Yeah. But so here's what we got on the times for the football schedule. Okay, so the first game, Arkansas Pine Bluff. They moved that to a Thursday night, which is great. Because that gives Arkansas extra days to get ready for the Oklahoma State game. So it's going to be a Thursday night game at 6:30 p.m. So it'll be an evening game. That's a good time. It's going to be an ESPNU, so nationally televised. There's probably not, a lot of other games going on that night. There may be a few others. Well, there has to be a few others because it is on ESPNU, so there's something going on ESPN and ESPN2. But anyway, then the next week, September 7th, Oklahoma State. That's going to be an 11 a.m. game on ABC.
Yeah.
So that's a nationally televised game. It is 11 a.m., which, to be honest with you, Clint, I don't mind the 11 a.m. games too much. I think if I was a player, I wouldn't appreciate them as much. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, listen, if you're a player, I mean, just be honest with you, if you're going to Oklahoma State at 11 a.m., fantastic. If Oklahoma State is coming here, like I'd rather have them come at night. I think it definitely it gives the rowdy fans less time to get served. Now, you're going down the list, but are there any? What are the other ones that are hard? Just highlight some of those games.
Okay. Well, I do want to say that 11 a.m. game, it does get them back to Fayetteville in their own bed at a decent hour. They'll be back. They'll be back before dark, maybe even.
The advantages to that too is, and I'm just saying because I mean, I dressed out and stretched for a college football team. Yeah. I don't want to say I played. But I did warm ups, and I stretched, and I played spades in the hotel. Football players with like most of the starting off, there's like three of the starting offensive linemen and me. We'd play spades every night. Me and Nelly only lost one game. Me and Matt Nelson, starting left tackle. So we would see, me and you are a pretty good team, but I think me and Nelly may have been slightly better.
I don't think we've ever been beat, Clint.
It's been very rare that we've lost one. Bob Stubbs and Sandy Hudspeth got us once.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, they got us once. And it was because me, I'll go kneel on hands I shouldn't go kneel on.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, here's the rest of the schedule here. Auburn, September 21st is a flex, so anywhere from 2:30 to 7 p.m. And it doesn't say what station's got it. A&M and AT&T Stadium it just says afternoon, so 2:30 to 3:30, and it doesn't say who's going to cover it yet.
Yeah.
Tennessee the week after that, we have this murder row here. At home, that's a flex from 2:30 to 7. So 2:30 would be the earliest it would be. And it doesn't say all the rest. Well, not all the rest of them, but the next few are TBA on station wise.
Yeah.
LSU is night game 5 to 7 p.m. at Razorback Stadium. Mississippi State is early 11 a.m. or noon. And it's to be announced on that one. Ole Miss is going to be early 11 a.m. or noon, to be announced on that one. And then the Texas game is 11 a.m. on ABC/ESPN, and that is at Razorback Stadium. So that's a home game, 11 a.m. And the thing is, Clint, of course, man, that's a murder row right before that. But if Arkansas has a good record right there, and if Texas has a good record, that could, that's a possible, I don't know. I don't know if this team will be good enough. That's a possible, if something happens, we catch fire.
Yeah.
Pretty good. That's a possible game day.
Well, and I
start
think
at 11,
that's the one that I think everybody's salty about. I'm going to look at it a little bit different from a little bit of perspective because we know that's on ABC.
Yeah.
They SEC, and I think this may be an ABC thing because before we through CBS and they never did. The Big Ten is featuring, and I haven't looked at the other games that week, so I may just be all wrong. But the Big Ten, they flex their muscle, like, hey, big noon kickoff. That's what they flex. Like, we're gonna have big noon kickoff. So that's the game that they're choosing to go against that.
Yeah.
Because no one's just going to take an L in the ratings. They're going to try to put a good game there. So I think that's a good thing. I do like doing this with a time slot because if I'm a coach, it's got to be hard. It's got to be disheartening to sit there and invite all these recruits, have a big recruiting weekend,
Yeah.
You want them to spend the day on campus really looking around, and then you play an 11 a.m. game and you lose it, and then everybody's sad all day. Coach Pittman's having to walk around like he just like somebody just kicked his dog because he just took a beating at a press conference. This, that LSU game, that's going to be a big recruiting weekend. It's going to be a night game. It's LSU. It's for the boot. I'm guaranteeing you about every recruit he can get there is going to be there on an official or unofficial. Yeah. That's a night game, so you can lock that in. Yeah. And I actually really do think this is a good thing. I really do. I think it's a good thing. I'd like to see less early games, but it's just the reality. You were 4-8 last year. You don't want so many early games, win 9.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the hard.
All right. November 23rd is Louisiana Tech. That's not a big game, but the only reason I want to mention it is it's the only game so far that they're saying is going to be just streamed. It's SEC Plus or ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even give an option for it to be. Now that can change, I guess, but more than likely.
Well, you got to, if something happens and La Tech they're looking like they're going to be that group of 5 team.
Yeah, they could always bump it up to another ESPN station or.
Yeah.
And then Missouri in the season with them 2:30 to 3:30. And then I thought that game was automatically on. Well, I guess we switched to ABC, right? That used to be a CBS game, didn't it?
It get bumped. I think right now it's on Saturdays, not on Black Friday. So
yeah.
So we'll see if that changes. Arkansas played on Black Friday since. Man, I'm going back since we were college kids. Before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
we had a year or two that the Arkansas LSU played on Saturday. when they got rid of it. You know,
The rumor is they're moving the Egg Bowl off of Thanksgiving.
that's crazy.
That is, guys. I don't know. Listen, I don't know who made that decision. I don't know sure if it's Sankey. I'm not sure if it's Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Chris Berman, but
get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Move the Ole Miss Mississippi State. The Egg Bowl should and belongs on Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Keith Carter, get your house in order.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I got fired up there.
All right. That's all right. All right. And so anyway, so really in football, you know, I mean, there's a lot of recruiting stuff going on. We've made some offers to some 2025 guys. You know, they're still trying to get all the Parkview guys and some of the others. There's some visitors been coming in, all that good stuff. We're hoping to have a special guest next week. We'll be talking some football. We've got it scheduled, so we're not going to announce totally who that is yet, but pay attention to that. It'll be exciting, and hopefully everything will work out. And
I am going to say this. This is the only thing I'm going to give away. I appreciate Patrick Kudis putting in a good word for us.
That's right. That's right. For sure. And anyway, basketball wise, like I said, the only big news there, you know, I mean, the biggest thing is Cal. You know, there was that little rumor, you know, of Hurley. You know, if you're Hurley, like I see why he turned that job down, man. Lakers coaches and LeBron's coaches don't last long. They just don't. They don't have a long tenure. And you know, he's got a good thing going at UConn, man. Why mess that up? So
by the way, I know we don't talk a lot of NBA here because just, you know, a lot of people don't care. But something really cool has happened the last couple years. No, in no way is Boston or Dallas small market teams, but you've seen a changing of the guards.
Yeah.
You really have. I mean, your LeBron, your Durant, your Currys, and all that. They're kind of, you know, they're going away now. You've got a group of young stars, and what's even more amazing is you're seeing Razorbacks sprinkled in with it. I mean, it's not that we're kind of done with the time where you don't have any representation. Daniel Gafford, he's
playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah, a lot of minutes. He's starting for the Mavericks at center. Really, he went from, you know, and you've got Doncic, who may be the best basketball player on the planet right now.
Of course, they're behind right now, but
yeah. They're behind. They're down 0-2, and then you got Jaylen Brown. Or no, Jason. Is it Jason or Jalen Tatum?
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You got them two guys over on the.
And you got Jordan Walsh on the bench. You
got Jordan Walsh, who's getting slightly more minutes than me.
Yeah.
In the finals, but
you know what? If the Celtics keep it going, you know how many more rings he'll have than us?
He'll have one more.
That's right.
So, but no, it's been fun to watch. I mean, it's you know,
yeah,
they're playing good basketball, and it is, like I said, it's the changing of the guard, and they're up and down. It's weird to see when now the most famous. If you'd ask me who the best basketball player in the gym was, I'd be like Jason Kidd.
Yeah,
he's coaching the Mavs, but anyway, yeah. So it's been neat to see the changing of the guard.
Yeah,
and it's a new era in the NBA, and it's one where like you've had different teams. It's not just like Milwaukee's won it, Denver's won it. Now, you know, Dallas or Boston. Yeah. It's not the same old every year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a that's a neat thing for sure. It's neat to see some other teams and some other cities get that rub, and I'm ready for that in NFL for the Browns this year because they're gonna.
There you go.
They're gonna be playing for that NFL Super Bowl. Anyway,
obviously.
Anyway, did have the coach of the year last year. You know.
Yeah, they've signed him and the GM to an extension.
That's right, and the GM is younger than the head coach. That's crazy.
been a Cleveland Browns fan for a long time.
Yeah.
When's the last time they've signed a head coach to an extension?
It's been a long time, dude.
I'm going to say since before they became back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's got no way. They have fired everyone.
Yeah.
They have fired everybody. I don't think anyone signed an extension.
That's right. I mean, a lot of them. Well, it may be the first one in a long time to even see the end of his,
Contract.
Hugh Jackson got close to seeing the end of his contract, didn't he? Or didn't he? Or didn't he last a couple years? Anyway, it's just, no, man, it's things are good there. They got a good roster. Because I was a little concerned when they brought in Barry, the GM. But anyway, no one wants to hear Brown stuff. I'll stop.
No,
All right, Clint, here's the other question I got for you. And this is not sports related, but I just I saw this online the other day and I thought we could talk about it. Okay. And we don't have to do our rankings, but what's your top funniest sitcoms? And I'm not talking about your favorite to watch. I'm talking about you get the most ha-has when you watch these. Like they may have some plot holes in them. They may not be the best acted, but when you watch these sitcoms, you find yourself literally laughing out loud. Your LOL sitcom list.
Okay.
You give me one and then I'll give you one. We'll bring it back and forth.
Let's do three apiece.
Okay.
And then we can wrap her up. But to me, if this is my favorite sitcom, to me, it's the best sitcom ever. It is Married with Children. You remember our basketball team? They would come out and they'd do their huddle. They'd go, "Whoa, Bundy!"
Yeah,
yeah, and to me, that is the sitcom.
Okay, my number one is The Office.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much in it. The American version of The Office, I've watched some of the European version, or the British version, but I don't.
What I remember about hearing about that was Ricky Gervais when they all met. He said, "Look, you've got to show glimpses in this one of Michael Scott being good at his job, because him just being a doofus all the time, won't play American audience."
And that was some of the brilliance of it, because there was times where he, anyway. But yeah, I mean, it was just and one of my other favorites. I'm not putting this in my top, the top three or whatever, but like you don't have Parks and Rec without The Office. Okay. Parks and Rec is up there. To me, it's, same showrunner, same writers, a lot of the same producers. Greg Garcia, came from The Office. He did a lot of other ones like Yes Dear and some others. So, but man, I get a ton of laughs from that. So that's my first one.
Yeah. It is so hard now for sitcom to make it, because all the ones I'm thinking of are older and been canceled and all that. I mean, I don't know how much of a stream, but I'm going to name a new one next. And this one I just think of like, it's funny. I loved watching it. I've watched it through 2 or 3 times, the complete season. And it is the 90s show, which was the spinoff of the 70s show on Netflix. Yeah. And I don't know, it's because like I relate to the time, and it brings back, simple times. I ain't going to say good times, worse times, because I like it. But definitely simpler, more naive times, and I love the show, and it brings back a little Topher Grace, and of course the guy that plays Red Foreman. I am brain farting on his name.
I know you're talking about, yeah,
but he is. That's Tom Clark. He's such Tom Clark, how he's like just a complete jerk to me sometimes. Yeah. But like he is complete teddy bear to his grandkids.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all have no idea. Yeah. Y'all don't have a clue.
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm going with that 90s show. I thought it was fantastic. I really did. Very, very well done.
All right. Well, my second one is maybe to a lot of people, the GOAT, it's probably I'm going low hanging fruit for my top two, but Seinfeld.
See, I watched Seinfeld, but I never was a huge Seinfeld fan.
Seinfeld is probably the only sitcom where the main characters don't learn anything. They get no moral, like, and that's what, people always complain. I didn't understand people complained about the finale. In the finale, they're in a court case. Have you seen the finale? You ever seen the finale?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah,
They
they were.
bring back all the people they've done wrong throughout the whole, or a lot of them. They bring back a ton of the different characters that they've done wrong. And they never, I mean, they're horrible people. Like Jerry and George and Elaine and Kramer are just horrible people. Whenever and to me, that's what the finale does. People complained about the finale. Spoiler alert, they end up in jail um, for not for the Good Samaritan law. They see a guy getting robbed and they film it and laugh at him. And it's John Panette, who's one of my favorite all time comedians. Definitely my favorite fat comedian, stand up comic. But anyway, I just, the brilliance of it, man, the brilliance of it is just, I mean, it's different than any other sitcom. It really is. And so, I really, well, besides Arrested Development and Larry David, is in both, writes both of those. So, but the mind of Larry David is just brilliant on those. So I got to go with, I mean, and then there's just so much of it. It's just hilarious. I mean, when George does is he's in a meeting and he gets a laugh and then he realizes that he needs to just leave the meeting because it only goes downhill after he gets a good laugh. And so he gets a laugh. He's like, that's it. I'm out. I've wanted to do that so many times. Anyway, so that's mine. That's
So,
my
are
second.
you going where I think you're going next? And you know what I mean?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. Well, I'm
We'll
sitting there. I'm
see.
thinking because I mean, there's been a couple on HBO Max that I've really enjoyed. Um, the new Peacemaker with John Cena. I don't know if that's a sitcom though, but uh, but guy, you know what I was going to go with. I think Night Court.
That's a good one. Yeah.
When I was a kid, Night Court. Would you consider A Team a situation comedy?
I
Because
don't know about that. Yeah. It had
I
some
don't.
funny stuff.
Yeah, they had some funny stuff, but no, for
But
real.
I watched it as a kid to see people like stuff blow up though. That was
Yeah, stuff blow up and boom. I was a
yeah.
Dukes of fan. But yeah, no, Night Court. One of my, I mean, just what Dan Fielding
Yeah.
is an iconic character.
Bull
Martha,
and Roz and
yeah,
Harry.
I mean, just it was so good. One of one of my favorites was when that judge was trying to take Harry's job, and Harry set him up. He kept getting the better of Harry, and he was like, "You may be smarter than me, younger than me, but you'll never, ever be crazier than me." And so yeah, I love Night Court. I mean, it is you can kind of tell whether the list that me and you grew up in the late '80s, early '90s,
Yeah.
because all of them were back then. But yeah, Married with Children would be my favorite. Night Court would be number two. I wouldn't say really, if I put a lot of thought into it, I wouldn't say that '90s show would be in my top three. I would honestly say probably even that '70s show was a better show. But I really enjoyed it because it brought back a lot of good memories of what it was like growing up in the '90s. You didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
If there were cell phones, me and you'd be in a lot more trouble. I don't know if you'd be a pastor at Thornton Baptist Church, but you still would be, bud. But anyway, go ahead. I can't wait to hear your number three or your third one.
Well, mine is one that I feel I got robbed because it ended too soon. It was canceled without ever finishing the story. It never got they finished the season and they thought they were going to have another season and it got canceled during the off season and it was never finished. And it's also another Greg Garcia one. It is My Name is Earl.
That was that was a good one.
Dude,
That watched a lot of that.
Ethan Suplee or whatever his name is that played Randy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. Like
No,
he had me cracking up, and Crabman, and I
yeah.
mean just
Peggy
I mean
Fred.
just all the characters on there. I mean they're
And
hilarious.
I was a huge I mean, I still am. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I own Clerks 3 on this stuff I bought on digital in the time of streaming. I bought Clerks 3,
Mm.
I Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back reboot, and I bought the documentary Clerk about Kevin Smith's life. Um, so man, I'm a huge fan. So I watched a lot of that just because Jason Lee
Yeah.
uh, and Kevin Smith are pretty
Oh, and he
tight.
was great in that. Oh my gosh.
It was very well cast, and man, that's one of the things I just did not, I wouldn't think of, I didn't think of, and it was it's a good one to put on your list. The list, you
I'm
know,
telling you, folks, if you haven't watched My Name is Earl, go find where it's streamed. I think it's on Peacock, maybe.
yeah, I bet it's on Peacock because it was
Oh
on.
my gosh, man. It is so stinking funny. When they I mean what when Randy Ethan whenever one episode, Earl's whole deal in it, if you hadn't seen it, he's got this list of all the bad things he did, and he's trying to get good karma by going back and fixing all of them. One of the things he did was when he was a kid, he was at this camp, him and his brother, and they burned down the barn accidentally. And so they go back to work at this camp, at the like a farm camp deal for kids. And they, anyway, and Randy is scared to death of birds, something that plays out throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
Well, he's walking along, and here comes a chicken by. So he sees it and he like freaks out, and he jumps this fence.
I remember that episode.
He jumps this fence and he's like talking trash to the chicken. He's like, "You can't get me now," and stuff. And then he turns around and he's in an ostrich pen. It's so funny. And he just
You doing the math in my head, Travis. Is I'm going to have to declare NBC the champion of the
they
sitcom
are
battle.
for sure. Yeah.
All three of yours
Yep.
NBC shows.
Yep.
Married with Children was Fox. The 90s show is on Netflix, but if it's the sister show of,
Yeah.
you got to give that one to Fox too.
Hey, and Married with Children would be up there for me too. I mean, that's one.
Oh, and I went with Night Court, but I was like Parks and Rec.
Night Court would be up there.
Yeah. I actually probably truthfully like Parks and Rec a little bit better than The Office, just because if you ask me, out of all of them, Ron Swanson's my favorite character.
Yeah.
I mean, by far, Ron.
I'll tell you, one of the ones that makes me laugh more than any is Tom Haverford.
Yeah.
What's his name? Plays him.
Anis Azari.
Yeah, yeah. He's hilarious. His character's so funny. He's like, one time my refrigerator went out, so I moved.
Okay. So let me ask you a question, because I mean, The Office obviously struggled post Steve Carell leaving. Who was your favorite guy that took over for Steve? Who was the favorite Steve Carell replacement? Because they tried 2 or 3.
I thought it the some of the Robert California episodes were good. Like I still enjoyed it without
Spader's
him.
my favorite. Spader's by far my favorite.
Those were good just because he was so freaky. Like he was,
Yeah. Oh, well, because you can't out Michael Scott.
Yeah. And
Spader was such a good 180 from that.
I didn't like it. Like some of the stuff was pretty good when Andy was the boss.
Yeah.
But the only problem I didn't like then was like I didn't like the whole problems with Jim and Pam thing.
I hated that.
Not because like I rooted for the kids or anything. I just thought it was bad writing, to be honest with you. It didn't make sense that he had a chance to have that great job, and like, that he came up with, to me, just play that off as a natural chance for him to, to end the show with,
Yeah, y'all want to grow together, not grow apart.
Yeah, or just have him turn down his friends for a little while, and then when the show's going to end, have him move off.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact he took Daryl with him and stuff like that, but
that was rough.
I just thought that was bad writing. I didn't think it was a good storyline.
Yeah, and the ranch. I like the ranch on Netflix.
It was pretty funny, but it was.
You got to a point where you got tired of seeing Colt screw up.
Well, yeah, and it got real predictable, and they had a lot of low hanging fruit jokes.
Yeah,
like once you heard them, I mean, they pretty much do the same jokes, just in different situations.
But hey, you could do worse for a TV comedy sitcom dad than Sam Elliott.
So. Oh no, he was great, and I mean, and even some of the drama part of it was, that was pretty good. Now, when Danny Masterson got in trouble and they had to write him off, they did some stretching there. Yeah.
Yes, Sam Elliott wearing his liking Uggs was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you another one. A Fox, to throw out a Fox one there is King of the Hill makes me laugh.
King of the Hill, yeah, that's a good one.
It makes me laugh a lot.
Though I've got into Bob's Burgers a little bit. I don't watch it a lot, but I
haven't watched that one.
Well, Travis, that's 156 in the can, my man.
It is, folks. We appreciate you. Like, share, comment. If you need roofing, call Hometown Roofing. They will hook you up. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. What's your favorite sitcoms? Tell us. We're missing some. We didn't talk about Cheers. We didn't talk about Friends. Some of y'all are Friends freaks. You may quit listening to this because we didn't say Friends in our top 3.
I didn't mention Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Different Strokes.
Yeah.
There's some good
ones. Good times.
Yeah, literally good.
What was Sanford and Son? I remember Hayden Hendricks used to could beatbox, and he would be doing beatbox, and he would be doing that beat. He'd be doing the Sanford and Son theme song underneath his beatbox at the same time. It was pretty impressive. Anyway, folks, seriously, like, share, comment. Let us know what you think. Go and be sure next week, check us out. I think we're going to have a great, awesome guest, that you'll want to hear from. I'll give you a hint. It's supposed to be a Razorback football player and, someone you may not have heard interviewed before. So, check it out. Clint, have a great week, brother.
Bye, everybody.
Fun as always. Peace out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down